So then when you walk away, what do you end up doing then?
So I moved to the Bay Area and I went to grad school. I got myself
Wow.
in. I went to American Conservatory Theater. So I just wanted to go get back to like art, and so yeah, I auditioned and got into because I heard there was this drama school where Denzel Washington had gone and Tom Hanks had gone, and Annette Bening and all these actors I respected. Yeah, it always acting had always been a part of my come up, my work in the arts, and had a lot of success with that as a young person, and so I went to go get back to that, just
Oh,
to go get back to something artistic.
so when you
And
graduated, were you looking to be in front of the camera or behind or?
I wasn't really looking to be. I didn't really have any idea really, but uh, yeah, I think ultimately I thought films were honestly where I thought I would be.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it was kind of a shock that music kind of broke out first, but I always had this love for film that I always thought I'd be making music for film
okay.
or doing something, and then I had success acting in high school, um, and so I thought I would eventually work my way to film. That was always sort of where I eventually thought I would go. And so I said, okay, this is not working. I'm gonna go back and go do something I love. And so I spent a couple of years doing that. And then while I was sort of on hiatus, I met the mother of my first daughter in Los Angeles. And she was Swedish. She was, um, I remember walking and I was like, oh, okay, different. I never met anyone from Sweden, a black person from Sweden.
Oh.
Well, her mom was like a Trini immigrant that had moved to
Okay.
Sweden like in the 60s and stayed.
Okay.
She was an M&A lawyer who was like on a work assignment, and I met a girl and then went to Sweden and sort of kind of started life there. And it was a perfect break from the music business. But if you're going from the music business for a couple of years, you might as well be going for 30. So after staying in Sweden for a few years and then coming back and looking to sort of jump start my career, I realized, oh, they've kind of forgotten about you. And so I never stopped making music, but completely was like away outside of the music business, just making music
Mm,
until maybe 2016 when Randy, of all people, Randy Phillips, calls me out of nowhere and says, do you know who Savan Kotecha is? And I'm like, mm, yes. I'd listen to I'm listening to his work right now. Saban's a songwriter, and I become a huge fan of him. Coincidentally, he had written all of Ariana Grande's huge hits, and
wow.
he he was on what was the UK show
Is it
Simon
X?
Cowell
Yeah, it was
X Factor.
the X
He was a
Factor.
judge. He was a judge on X Factor, and through X Factor had discovered and built One Direction. And I knew who One Direction was because they were massive at this moment.
Yeah.
And I knew who he was because I was just a huge fan. I just thought the guy was an excellent songwriter. And so this guy who I'm listening to a lot and whose work I'm kind of following, just randomly, it was like 2 weeks before I'm getting married. I'm in the middle of planning a wedding, and I get a call from Randy Phillips, who I hadn't talked to in a few years. He's like, Salvin Katecha's looking for you. I'm like, okay. And I'd always been a huge fan of Max Martin, and I knew he was Max's
Mm,
like right hand. And I knew who all those guys were, Rami, and I've just been following them for years and years. And I had Swedish ties.
mm.
And so Stavin reached out to me and he's like, man, I'm a huge fan of you. And would you come to Stockholm and just write with us? I have, I'm working on all kinds of stuff. I'm like, yes, I know you are. And so I literally like I I went to my honeymoon in Italy. I came back home from my honeymoon. I left 48 hours later, came from Europe, landed in Los Angeles, took a shower, took a nap, packed my bags, and went right back
Wow.
to Sweden. And spent the next like 3 weeks cranking out songs with those guys. And they showed me that there's a completely different way to work. That the music business of long hours and crazy, like those guys, Max and Savin and Rami, and the way they work, you can work at the highest levels of the music business and have a family and work normal hours and be efficient. And they sort of brought me back to life, and reintroduced me to the music business that I now exist in now. And it's a wonderful place, and I'm so fortunate that they found me, dug me out of the ashes.
Wow. So are you doing a lot of writing with them or by yourself now, or what are you?
By myself now, but they sort of reintroduced me to it. And since then, I've gotten the BMI award from the Jeremiah with Weed, if I were being a part of that. And then, that introduced me to a whole different branch of new talent and relationships. And I made some great relationships just through this sort of rejuvenation. That just opened the door to a whole lot of different things. That one session, we're turned into songs for a band called Pretty Much. They have turned into a Maroon 5 song. It's turned into a few projects from there, some of those sessions. But what it really did was sort of reminded me that I still can do it. Part of it was that I've never stopped making music. I just stopped releasing music.
Yeah.
But I've stayed plugged with my skill set, so that when an opportunity came, it just so happened that, and I never imagined it was going to come. I thought if it did, it would come a different way. But when it did, it was just a door that it allowed me to step through. And so yeah, I'm fully very much active and low key under different names. And
so we probably wouldn't know you wrote the stuff.
Nah, because what happens is it's a reason I think I would never like tag. Reason I producers will tag a song.
Yeah.
And Max talks about this a lot too. It's like why why he seeks to sort of stay low. And that's part of what I learned from him. Because if you are a brand as a producer or a writer, well, once that era is over, guess what? So are you. Nobody wants the song from the guy that was hot 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works. So anonymity, once you are seasoned, old, it becomes an asset, because if you were established, old is probably like the worst thing you could be in the music business, right? You don't want to be. That's why Young Berg is now Hitmaker, because he knew that, that name, Young Berg, is attached to that era. And, brand identity, whether aware or not, is a huge thing in music business. And and I certainly learned from those guys that you don't want to be attached to an era. And I think that in terms of at least the people that I knew, the relationships I had, I was very much attached to 90s R&B. And I knew that wouldn't work for what I was looking to do.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
I didn't get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas' voice winning all spirits.
Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.